everyone. Welcome to a new episode of FLO'em podcast. At FLO'em, we believe science shouldn't stay in labs and research papers. That's why we have a special interest in science-backed startups. In today's episode, we have a special guest. In fact, our first guest, Ilya Schneider, who is a co-founder and head of business development at Hephaistos. At Hephaistos, they are trying to transform enzyme engineering through AI. So let's welcome Ilya to our episode. Ilya, welcome. And thank you so much for taking the time to share your startup journey with FLO'em and our enthusiastic community.
Thanks a lot as well for the invitation. I'm really happy to be here and to share a little bit on how our journey was and what are we planning for the future. So thanks a lot.
We are curious to know a bit more about Hephaistos. So the name itself is very fascinating, I would say. So what does Hephaistos stand for, and what problem are you trying to solve with your science and deep tech approach to novel enzyme manufacturing?
Yeah, so Hephaistos is actually a name of a Greek god that creates arms and forges different weapons for other gods. And this is what we see our enzymes as, basically tools that can be utilized to create new things. And this is our main goal, to enable biocatalysis based reactions across many different spectra of chemical reactions. The idea is that we really spread the use of enzymes and make the manufacturing of chemicals like pharmaceuticals, but not necessarily only those, also agrochemics, cosmetics, and pretty much ideally anything in the future, utilizing biocatalysis, making it more sustainable, more effective, and more cost effective as well, of course.
Great. That's probably the next best thing with AI.
Yeah, that's really the goal, exactly, to use latest developments in the field in protein design and AI, combine those with our domain expertise and design catalysts that can catalyze something new that was not possible before, and thus bring this added value to also some specific case studies that are right now being a bottleneck or a roadblocker in the industry.
Yeah, cool. So what was the original idea that sparked the creation of Hephaistos? So is it a specific scientific breakthrough or like an intentional decision to bring sustainable enzymatic catalysis to the industry? Or could you please summarize the story behind Hephaistos?
Yeah. It was, I would say, a combination of many factors that just aligned at the right time and moment with the right people. So in our case, it was just a mail we received after one of our exams announcing the Bioincubate competition, which then had two tracks, the startup track and I think it was called Forge track, but basically where you would tackle a specific problem given by the Bioincubate. And at the same time, one of our co-founders, Yannick, was already doing a research project or starting it. I think he already started at that point about enzyme design. And our other co-founder, Lucas, was really passionate about protein engineering tools and specifically the releases related to David Baker's lab. And I was kind of seeing this opportunity and two of us having a large interest in the field, which helped to kick things off. And I would say ever since, things been going faster and faster. So eventually Yannick gave this project over to Lucas, who made it his master thesis, and which became then a publication in Applied Chemistry Journal, and also the first version of the actual pipeline that we started using and then kept on iterating throughout the projects we've been tackling.
Okay, that's really cool. So you had like a scientific breakthrough that's happening with one of your co-founders, and that led to also with the whole AlphaFold and a breakthrough led to Hephaistos.
Yeah, we also brainstormed, of course, for like a few ideas when we were applying for this competition, but the impactfulness of this problem, and I would say how effective a breakthrough in this field could be, was something also that pushed us to being convinced of, okay, let's tackle this, because if it works, it will be a game changer, of course, for us, but also for pretty much the world, for pharma industry.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So you mentioned Yannick and Lucas. So I am curious to know how you guys came together and how the co-founding team was built at Hephaistos.
Yeah, so I mean, our team came through for our studies. We've been studying a master's, the biotechnology master's at ETH together, and just became friends throughout the program. It's also a program where one has to study a lot on his own, not alone, hopefully. And this is how we stuck together throughout different projects, exams, and eventually just as I mentioned, we were also together after the exams, and then this email came in. We decided to tackle this problem together, and now we're a team of 5, where we have basically exactly Yannick, who started working on the computational side, then also did his thesis in high throughput enzyme screening. But actually, at our startup right now, he focuses more on operations and also fundraising. And our roles have also changed throughout I would say, last 2 years, where we've been working on it part-time and full-time. Then we have Lucas Melicek, who is our CTO, and he's the author of this paper. We have Lucas Radke, who is our CEO, and also has lots of experience with enzyme engineering, has been in Arnold lab for his thesis. Then there is Moritz, who is taking over the lab side completely. And he has also some domain chemistry expertise that helps us to assess some reactions at the beginning, figure out what assays we would need. And then myself, so I also have biotechnology background and also did in the past lots of computational projects, but actually at Hephaistos, as you also explained, I'm not doing pretty much any science right now. So I'm actually looking for new customers mainly.
Okay, the business development part of it.
Exactly, yeah. At the beginning also, actually, I also started to help out guys on the code side, but at some point we also realized that we cannot only be doing tech, and that someone has to dedicate more time towards other stuff. So at the beginning, actually, I went more into fundraising, and then Lucas as well, who's our CEO right now, he's kind of also, I would say, a bit torn, because his heart is really by development of the tech and helping the other Lucas, but of course he kind of has to assume these responsibilities of pitching, of going to certain events, of talking with the clients, or the clients maybe and the deals that I bring in through our outreach, then to kind of help convert them. Because at the end of the day, that's the cool part as well. I would say that he has the entrepreneurship skills and the technical stuff to follow this conversation. And I would say this is also something strong in our team, where, of course, to one extent or another, but everyone would be able to have a relatively technical conversation about the project.
You mentioned there is the computational AI-driven enzyme design part, and then I hope there is a wet lab validation as well happening. And probably there are collaborations with the pharma, chemical manufacturing. So how is Hephaistos evolving from the initial stage where you guys just applied for the event and then getting the funding and moving forward? So how it is going from this early concepts to right now building this new projects together?
Yeah, I must say we got really lucky at this event, because we got unlucky because we didn't win it. But one of the judges was someone we also knew, and it was in fact where Lucas and Yannick, he was head of lab where he worked. And he recommended, so big thanks to him. And he recommended an entrepreneurship program for us called Talent Kick, which was basically for us a way of continuing this project, because we really enjoyed the preparation to the Bioincubate event. It was really fun. And we're a little bit disencouraged by not getting the prize and the opportunity to test things in the lab. But on the other hand, we had this other opportunity, Talent Kick, to kind of develop more the entrepreneurship stuff. And so 3 of us enrolled in that program. And we were doing it, I think, for half a year. It was all also, to clarify, kind of in parallel to our masters. And then as things kept going, this half a year finished through Talent Kick. We also got some nice introductions to interesting people. We got some funding as well, which was really helpful at the beginning. And then a year went by where we could apply to the second iteration of Bioincubate competition. And that time, when we came back, we actually managed to secure the prize and secure the wet lab space. And with that, we kicked off the validation of our proof of concept enzymes, which right now is a bit on hold, because we're tackling, like you mentioned, this industrial POC with a company from Basel. It's a research organization called SpiroChem. But I would say the big transition was, I would say, throughout our time where we're doing it part-time in masters, we started engaging more and more with people outside of academia, with people who maybe did the transition themselves, who founded startups, but who are also in, I don't know, big pharma, small pharma, but in some commercial organizations who were either interested in what we're doing or also would be potential clients or collaborators or knew someone. And right now, as of summer, basically, we were able to graduate our masters, all of us, and also secure a few more grants and funding opportunities to basically keep things going and fund this pilot enzyme we're designing right now. And in the meantime, we're also keeping our, I would say, sales funnel too. So we're also negotiating our first paying customers. We're also having a few promising conversations with other big and small industrial companies. So it's really exciting. And it's, I would say, the transition is from students just doing something in the evenings to actually then now graduating and dedicating all our possible time towards it is a big one.
Yeah, that's super cool. And I think many people in this transition phase could relate to that. And that brings me to the next question, where, like, from your experience of building a science-based startup, so how would you see this in comparison with some other kind of startup? So for example, a pure tech startup, IT startup. So when it comes to science-backed startup, what are the hurdles that come to your mind that you have to overcome, and major concerns that you had as a co-founder at Hephaistos?
I would say there are a few things. I would say the first one is understanding that not everyone who is interested in your company interested in understanding how things are done. So you have to really, in many cases when you talk with investors, but also sometimes clients, it's all about the solution and how good the solution is, but in terms of output, not in terms of what you're actually doing. And some people, of course, will be interested in it. But for us, it took really a while to switch from this kind of academic mode of explaining how we're doing things instead of actually, I would say, elaborating more on what we're doing now, why we're doing it, how the results are going, and what we plan to do in the future. And this kind of ties as well with talking to people who would potentially buy your product or your service. So I think really figuring out that part and validating the customer side, or just in general the external stakeholder, people who maybe are even not on the customer side but are from the same industry and could maybe share a few experiences in terms of, okay, is this the way big pharma companies work? Is the deal you're potentially offering to them something they could consider doing? There are certain red flags where I would say maybe they would bully into another type of deal because they're never doing stuff like this. So there's many things, and I think it's really tied to just going out and spamming at us. For us at the beginning, was it spamming people on LinkedIn and trying to get first calls and conversations, just first to understand how things are when not necessarily big, but where just money is involved for service. In our case, service, but of course it can be product. And secondly, trying eventually through this conversation, figure out how you will talk to your potential customers and hopefully get some introductions as well. But yeah, business model and figuring out how to sell what you're doing in a right way, and maybe pushing the internal nerdiness a bit behind and not explaining how things done, I think was the biggest change we've done in the past time we've been working on the project.
Okay.
And maybe not being shy as well. I think not being shy of writing people on LinkedIn, sending messages, cold emails. I think it's also a hurdle at the beginning where I would see it also among my other co-founders, where I've been doing it, let's say, day and night to find people. And then when I would reach a certain limit on my account, I would request their account, and they would be like, "Oh, but we don't know these people." Like, well, look, no one cares at the end of the day. Worst case, they will not answer you. Best case, there will be something cool, and you never know where it will lead to.
Oh, that's amazing. Mostly, yeah, everybody has that initial block
Yeah,
Really
exactly.
active on LinkedIn. So
Yeah.
how was your LinkedIn journey, if you are comfortable saying that?
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned at the beginning, it was trying to identify interesting companies, then kind of tech people or some decision makers inside of that, texting them. And I would say it went a lot from manual search to also using the right tools to automate this process. So now we have a few to basically find interesting companies, then also identify people in them, automate the messaging. So kind of scaling the volume of this outreach. We're also now partnering with LF Mate, which is
Mhm.
a company that is helping us with our posts and our outreach. So it's becoming more professional and more systematic, I would say. And of course, there's like tweaks we do to that, but I would say the biggest change is the scale and volume and involvement of us, where we just follow up, as I would say, on things that are already going well in terms of messages and stuff. But the first batch is kind of automated in a way where things are being not super hands-on supervision from our side, because we
Mhm.
already kind of but I think it's something you figure out in this first part when you're doing it manually, what works, what doesn't, how you should formulate the questions, how maybe not necessarily you have to push for sale, but for understanding, okay, am I talking with the right person? And
Mhm.
once you've done it enough manually and have at least a certain understanding of how the conversation should be going, then I think you can switch towards the automation.
Okay. That's probably a great tip for many founders out there who are like aspiring founders. That's
Yeah.
super
And
cool.
there's lots of tools with
Mhm.
all possible budgets to try out for free, or just that are 20 euros, francs a month. So there's a big variety of things one can do. And I would say for certain things as well, one can code them you're on your own. So for instance, for scraping interesting people from our connections, we just wrote a script ourselves. So it's also, I would say, maybe a part where one can go back into the nerdiness and do stuff on its own. So for me, it was fun.
Yeah, definitely. Also, so what is exciting at the moment at Hephaistos? Like, what is the future that you are looking forward to?
Past month has been really exciting, and it's also the cool trend where I would say the longer we work, the more exciting it gets. So right now we're finalizing the computational design of our pilot enzymes for SpiroChem.
Mhm.
Hopefully towards the end of the month, so in the coming week, that will be done, and we'll be ordering DNA in order to then test activity in the lab. That's the first exciting thing. The second one is, of course, through events we went to at ETH, so the Deep Tech Summit, and the event that was finalizing the opportunity accelerator we took part in. We met lots of investors who are also specifically interested in this cross section of deep tech, biotech, or sustainable chemical manufacturing. And we had really nice introductions and really nice conversations. So that has been really exciting. And then, of course, we're negotiating right now a deal with a first paying customer. So really
Mhm.
validating and finding someone who is willing to put money in front of you for exploring a certain problem that has been a big issue for them is
Mhm.
really, really exciting.
Okay. Okay. So your major focus right now is to scale up slowly.
Yeah, and it's validate this. I would say the biggest thing is really validating this enzyme in the industrial problem that SpiroChem has. I
Mhm.
would say this is the most important thing right now, and where our fullest attention is. And then the rest is kind of the work we're doing for after that. So funding around, talking to investors for that, negotiating next projects, or having conversation about what will follow after. And of course, we're happy to re-engage with SpiroChem on other projects, or in general, our ideas that, okay, if something is working and you guys have a few projects, let's tackle them one by one in priority feasibility order. And then we keep things going. But of course, one has to diversify, one has to talk with lots of people and make a stronger case
Okay.
for yourself and for investors.
Yeah, that's so cool. Like a great journey from the, being students and founding together and now going to more finding more customers who are interested in your projects. Like a very inspiring journey. So what would you give kind of an advice to the people who are starting on this journey? Since you are coming from a scientific background, studying and knowing people together, forming something later. So there are a lot of scientists and researchers out there who are willing to get on this path, but many are afraid and don't know what to do and how to proceed. So what will be your kind of an advice for them?
I think the main thing is I would say keeping an eye open for such opportunities like Bioincubate was for us. At the end of the day, of course, we didn't, I would say, do the classic way of doing a PhD, enabling some tech there, and then commercializing that with the professor we've been working on and with the university. On our side, we, so to say, started earlier with our masters and now develop after our masters or during, and now are developing things further. And I think more and more people are going in that direction where maybe they just want to do something applied, they want to explore their own idea and not necessarily do it in an academic setting. And I think still the university or the ecosystem around you is a big thing. And for instance, I really noticed the switch. So before I studied in Heidelberg in Germany, and now I moved to my master's to ETH in Switzerland. I must say I saw a big difference in terms of how many opportunities are there to go to a hackathon, go to a competition like this. And of course, for the guys who were organizing this Bioincubate at that time, it was a first iteration. They secured funding from Lonza. They were tackling also Lonza's problem, and it's been going really well for them. So it's kind of self-feeding, or there's a feedback, okay, people are trying things, and then there is more opportunities to try things. And I think, at least from my time in Heidelberg, I wouldn't say there were that many opportunities like this, but there's still many things. I know there's Nucleate in Germany. I'm pretty sure Berlin is, for instance, also a bit more active. I know there is a great entrepreneurship club in TUM. So maybe I think it's keeping an eye open for these opportunities, getting yourself engaged. Maybe it's an entrepreneurship club and not necessarily first tackling a problem of its own, but understanding how the entrepreneurship works, how maybe all the rest that is not science, where you are not an expert, but where you have to build this expertise works. And just getting engaged, I would say, without huge expectations, just being there because you enjoy it, learning new stuff and seeing where this path will take you. Because honestly, like, I think this was the biggest learning through the LinkedIn outreaches and in general through the journey we've been doing with the guys, is that every next conversation can be the one that really changes what you're doing. And of course, the idea is not to go into each conversation with this expectation, okay, this may be the one, but it's understanding that it's also a numbers game. So the more people you talk to, even if sometimes maybe something seems not super related, these were actually in many cases the conversation where like, oh, but I know this guy, this is super cool you're doing, I have no idea, but talk to them. And this was eventually, let's say, someone who would be interested in doing a pilot or a project with us. So just getting exposed, engaging with people, opportunities you have around you, and then things will get going.
Yeah, definitely. I couldn't agree more. That's exactly what people should, look forward and start doing. Basically, start doing and make them visible first.
Yeah, and if there is, honestly, and I can imagine, of course, there are cases where maybe there will not be an opportunity like this. But then I guess you should be the one starting it. You should be maybe the one talking with your university and seeing, hey, maybe we can organize something for the students, or invite people invite people from organizations you've met. But in general, just talk to people, get yourself active one way or another. Things will get going.
Great, amazing, Ilya. And one last question. So, as a founder, how was your personal journey founding Hephaistos?
I mean, it's a roller coaster. It's one day you feel like, oh my God, everything is going super well. I love it, and we even now have like a chat with the guys, which is called momentum. So, for example, if someone is really, because for people it's different in the team. Someone can be having a great week because things are going well in the lab. And for me, it can be a shitty week because I don't know, nothing is really going on. I'm not having the right conversations, or you can feel dismotivated for one reason or another. And it can be vice versa as well. So I think for us, this momentum channel is like really to kind of transfer the momentum from someone whose week is going well to someone's maybe whose it's not. Because really, sometimes you have a great conversation and you're like, oh my God, everything is going well. Next call you have is the other way, where people are saying, yes, but how are you going to scale your solution? And basically breaking down why your idea is not working. So it's understanding that, okay, it will really be like this. And then you're going to have progress and you're going to be super excited and it will be feeling amazing. And then in a few weeks, maybe you're going to have a call with a serious investor who will be like, or you're going to talk with your ideal client, dream client, and realize, oh, maybe they don't need your solution. So I think it's accepting that this is actually the fun part where you swing. And for me, I think, yeah, this was the big learning and something I learned to enjoy as well. Knowing, okay, that even after low, there will be a next swing up, which will be fun, and just trusting in the process.
Yeah, also I got a feeling of like also getting comfortable with the risk associated with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and doing it exactly because you believe in it, you want to see the impact of it, and you enjoy it. So, because I must say, working with the guys doesn't feel like working. So, which is amazing, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Mm.
Then it gives you a lot of energy to move forward.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's contagious, and yeah.
Super.
Mm.
Okay, that's amazing, Ilya. Like it was a great journey. I was really curious to listen to all the stories that you had to share. And I'm pretty sure, like, when I come back to you, maybe after 1 year or something, I have a lot new stories to hear from you.
I hope so too.
And I wish Hephaistos very best of luck to securing all the fundings ahead and investors and also new projects with SpiroChem and all the possible collaborations out there. It is going to be an amazing journey, I'm sure.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. It was a pleasure talking to you. It was really fun. I must say something also I'm doing and we're doing for the first time. So yeah.
Again, thank you so much, Ilya, for coming today and sharing your journey of how the co-founding of Hephaistos from the beginning and how it is going right now and what are you looking up to. It was really inspiring, and I'm sure there are a lot of enthusiastic people in our FLO'em community who would be, taking something away from that. And I am happy to see how this progress for you. And yeah, with that, we are ending today's episode and get back to you in next episode.
Thanks a lot. It was a big pleasure talking with you. And yeah, look forward to also following how you guys are doing and what episodes and other founders you bring for these kind of conversations. Good luck.
Thanks a lot. See you. Bye bye.